When most people think of Boruto characters, they usually think about the negative things from early on in the series that don't really apply anymore, like Boruto's a brat who never trains, or they think about how overpowered characters are like Jigen and Ishiki, because those two characters made our beloved childhood heroes. Naruto and Sasuke look like fodder in comparison. However, buried beneath all of this is the fact that right now we've been given a character in Amado who might very well go down as one of the best characters in the Naruto franchise, and it's because Masashi Kishimoto has gone back to a key area of his writing which has largely been missing from Boruto's manga up to this point, with a couple of exceptions, which is taking characters and exploring what it means to be human while linking their personal character struggle to the overall theme of the story itself. We've seen this in the past with characters like Obito and Sasuke, where each character's internal and external conflict brilliantly was used to play off of one another and tie back into the larger theme of the story. Even in Naruto's first arc, we saw this with Zabuza and Haku, where their final moments were written in a way to reflect the darker side of the ninja world. With Amado, we're seeing a character who is being used in a similar fashion to make the same connection to the core theme of the story itself by exploring the humanity of Amado. We've now tapped into two of the core themes of the Naruto sequel. Theme number one being, where does science fit into a constantly evolving world of ninjas, and theme number two being the story of parents and children. Amado represents extremely strong checks on both of these boxes for the core theme of part one of Boruto's story. However, I first want to focus on the second theme, since I believe it's most important and it's the most crucial element to understanding the beauty of Amado's character, and will make you appreciate the complexity of the character and the symbolism behind the advancements that he's made with this science and with this ninja tech. In the last Boruto chapter, we learned that one of the driving factors, if not the driving factor for Amado's character, was his desperation to bring back his dead daughter to life. Amado's daughter died 12 years ago in the timeline at the age of 24 to an incurable sickness, and Amado, in his desperation to save his daughter, turned to science, which later pushed him to double down on the science of cloning after she passed away. The desperation of a parent to bring their child back to life in a new body that won't suffer from the same illness that killed her in the first place is what led to him going to extremes in his research to find a way to bring his daughter back to life. For human beings, when you strip down all the modern conveniences and way of thinking down to the bare basics, humans are here to biologically pass down their genes to the next generation. As a parent, the unconditional love you have for your child, the rewarding feeling that comes from teaching them things to help them guide their way through life, and the sense of pride that you get from watching them develop their personalities, and that primal instinct to protect them at all costs, is something that helps shape a really important aspect of our humanity. The unconditional love for his daughter and the need to protect his child is what drove Amado into desperation to save his daughter, in a quest to recover a future that was once wide open, that had now faded away into the depths of the underworld, a broken shell of what it used to be, which led to a broken-hearted father diving so deeply into the pain that he began to lose who he originally been before. But by the time he realized what it meant to help Jigen, and how if he helped Jigen fulfill his goal of bringing his daughter back to life only to die again in a dying world, it was the sign of a man who, as smart as Amado had been, hadn't been smart enough to actually see what it was that he was doing until it was too late, and the very morality that made him a human was now shattered into thousands of tiny pieces that needed to be rebuilt, which is why we saw Amado trying desperately to make amends for what he'd done, though for selfish reasons like making the Byakugan drugs in order to slow down Kawaki's Otsukification, and giving those same drugs to Naruto to give to Boruto in order to briefly spare Naruto from that pain that comes from losing a child. Amado's drugs initially were meant to give Naruto more time with his son before ultimately losing him to that Otsukification. However, a few good acts does not make up for the wrongs that Amado has done. 14 children who had parents of their own, those parents who lost their children through various means to Jigen and Amado. 12 of those children died in order to give Jigen a vessel who could be bestowed upon them Ishiki's Karma Seal, and it was all due to Amado's help. Even after he realized what moral lines he crossed by helping Jigen, he'd already made his mind up to go partially scorched earth to take as many lives as were needed so that he could one day use Kawaki to bring his daughter back to life. However, in his desperation, he missed the fact that when he looked himself in the mirror, the reflection staring back at him was that of a lie, and that should he succeed in bringing his daughter back to life, he couldn't stand before her the same man that she'd once known before. Time and his actions had killed the very faith that his daughter would have once had in him, because based on his reaction to losing his daughter and how he threw everything against the wall to try and save her, even after she died. We see that Amado once had the strong capacity for love and is the embodiment of the phrase that love makes people do crazy things. However, the blood on his hands from the children he helped kill to those who died with the experiments of his nanotech, which resulted in people like Goro losing their arms in the process, to the systematic murder of the Inners. The blood that Amado willingly placed on his hands in his quest to bring back his daughter is a sign that his grip on humanity has been loosened from all the blood that he has on his hands. The most damning reflection of this is the birth, the life, and the potential death of Kashin Koji. Boruto's story in part 1 has always been the story of parents and children. Naruto and Boruto in Naruto Chapter 700, Sasuke and Sarada, Shin and the Shin clones in Naruto Gaiden, to Kishimoto's one-shot manga for Mitsuki and Orochimaru, to Kinshiki being written as a guardian for Momoshiki in the original drafts of Boruto the movie, to Kawaki's relationship with his birth father and his two adopted fathers in Jigen and Naruto. However, Amado's role as a parent here runs much deeper than the birth of his daughter and her clones in the form of Delta. The relationship to Kashin Koji shows the darker side of this. Naruto's manga made it a point to drive home repeatedly that the next generation must be protected by the prior one, with Asuma's narrative about the king on the shogi board being the most famous example most people think of. However, Amado willingly betrays this by both killing the 12 children for Ishiki's karma to be passed down from Jigen to another vessel, and he betrays in the form of Kashin Koji. For all intents and purposes, you can view Kashin Koji as the son of Jiraiya in the same way that Mitsuki is viewed as the son of Orochimaru, since both are clones of the original. Amado took Jiraiya's DNA for the sole purpose of giving birth to a Jiraiya clone, letting it live its life long enough to kill Jigen and force Ishiki to revive into a defective body. And he planned for him to die, all so he could set the stage to gain possession of Kawaki's karma for himself. It's one of the clearest signs that he's gone against the very core element of humanity that Naruto's manga originally preached. Whereas characters in the Naruto manga were taught to protect the king, Amado has had no problem becoming a kingslayer in his quest to revive his daughter, and this mad drive of his is reflected in the overpowered nature of his ninja tech, which ironically is also a reflection of how far he's willing to go for his daughter. It's only fitting that a man who has crossed numerous ethical lines while in the deepest pit of grief that one could ever have to bear is the one responsible for the insane science that seems almost impossible to comprehend. We'd seen Hashirama cells be used for insane stuff in the past, but the way that Amado's nanotech blended Hashirama cells and Konoha technology together to turn normal humans into beings this powerful is downright mind-boggling, but it's a reflection of how far a parent is willing to go for his child. However, while most of us focus on the immense power of the ninja tech that Amado created because this is a battle shonen, it's important to look at other aspects of his ninja tech because they're a direct reflection of his quest to bring his daughter back to life. Amado's ninja tech has varying degrees of regeneration to it. While we've seen his ninja tech augment the healing speed of characters like Boro and Victor taking their own regen abilities to insane levels, however, the perfected nanotech that we see in Kawaki and Delta and Code, this perfected version allows for regen from abilities over time. The tissues of the body can be manipulated into appendages that we see Kawaki, Delta, and Code each use, but when we look at Amado's motive, it makes a lot of sense. He wishes to revive his daughter, who died of an uncurable illness, even if she's revived, because Kawaki decides to implant the karma on that Delta clone, and she doesn't forgive her father for what it is that he's done. Amado has given her the tools to protect herself, long after he as a parent can no longer do so, and was unable to protect her from death in her first life. A strong body, strong enough to contend with the suppressed six-pass chakra mode Naruto, with nanotech that has the ability to change appendages into weapons, and by extension, regenerate, was made for a daughter that he wished to bring back to life. Only someone this grief-stricken would think of something like that and carry out the creation of ninja tech to this extent. Amado represents the potential foil to the first theme that I referenced for Boruto, which is, can science coexist in the world of ninja? The very modified human cyborgs that we've seen Konoha Shinobi fighting throughout Boruto were a byproduct of Amado's own science. Kawaki's karma seal was replanted onto him by science. It is a scientific scientifically weaponized karma. And in the flash forward sequence, there's a strong implication that Kawaki used that same power in a way that led to the destruction of the mightiest of the ninja villages, declaring that the age of the shinobi was over. It's only fitting that in a story of parents and children on one end of the spectrum and science and ninja tradition on the other end of that spectrum, that we have a parent who is serving as one of the main pillars to the narrative bridge that connects the two together. The only question now is, how does this story of Amado and his daughter end? Is this another Obito situation where the one who walked down the wrong road ends up redeeming himself in death, or does Amado have a happy ending? While you think that over, click here to watch more video essays from Naruto Explained, or click here to watch this Kryptonian Saiyan video where I talk about other non-Naruto anime.